If trading is so profitable, why doesn't everyone quit their job and just do it? The answer is uncomfortable because it removes the fantasy you have. The first common thing is that nobody sticks to trading. And the trading is not limited, especially by opportunity, but it is limited by the person operating it. It's like if being a lawyer is so profitable, why doesn't everyone just do it? Most people approach trading as a problem. It is the second mistake. They think that the barrier is knowledge or access or capital. So they study charts or memorize patterns or chase refined concepts. But the most important thing is that the failure in trading is not about a lack of knowledge. And if a channel told you that, make sure to block that channel because they're just trying to keep you around until you buy something from them. The first thing and maybe the hardest part of trading is that consistency comes from consistency. If you stick to your rules enough and keep yourself at the line every freaking day, the consistency of being in the field becomes the consistency of making money. The next common problem is that when you start trading, what you are actually entering is not a firm to apply or a challenge to fix. It's a behavioral environment that amplifies every weakness that you carry. It's a very serious game made of millions of other people. Yes, the market does offer something very rare. Ultimate freedom, ultimate money. You can enter whenever you want, risk whatever you want, work from wherever you want, and break every rule you want. And that freedom is exactly which breaks traders. Because without external constraints, your internal flaws become your system. Watch how quickly this shows up. A trader starts with a structure, a good plan, a risk management, a defined strategy. But the moment the pressure appears, their strategy breaks. Or better to say, they break their strategy. They hesitate when they should act. They act when they should wait. None of this is technical. It's psychological and internal. It is you and me. If trading is so profitable, why everyone fails? Trading doesn't fail people. Freedom to do whatever they can does. And people can't control themselves without forced limitations. The industry rarely explains this clearly. It presents trading as a skill you acquire, not a behavior you must regulate. It sells you delusional precision while ignoring stability. Because they don't want you to become a trader. They want you to become a buyer and a customer. So they don't point at internal concepts because nobody can sell consistency. This is why the same person who knows deep technical and fundamentals still lose money consistently. Because trading is one of the few environments where your internal contradictions are immediately reflected in your results. It is the fairest game there is. If you're inconsistent, your equity becomes inconsistent. If you chase certainty, you enter too late. If you fear loss, you exit too early. The market really doesn't need to beat you. You pay up yourself without beating. The next thing is that consider liquidity without illusion. Price moves toward areas where participation is concentrated, simply crowded, where orders cluster. And most importantly, where behavior becomes predictable. Not because the market is targeting you, but because the groups of traders behave similarly under stress. They place stops in similar places. They react at similar moments. The market simply interacts with that predictability, and it's not deliberate. It's just inevitable. Now place yourself in that environment. You know where liquidity sits. You understand the structure. But when the price starts to approach your level, your behavior changes. You hesitate, you exit early, you ignore the plan, the knowledge remains intact, the execution collapses. More precisely, you collapse. There is a trader who lives this pattern. He studies consistently and he understands concepts deeply. On paper, he should be profitable, but his results show something different. He can't follow his own rules when they matter most. Not because he's incapable, but because his need for control overrides his ability to stay consistent. He loses to himself. He tells himself he needs more refinement, better timing, more confirmation. But these are self-satisfactions, not solutions to the problem. Because sitting down hours under pressure and remain stable is harder than reading some pages of a book or buying a new course. The real issue is simpler and harder. He can't tolerate uncertainty. You don't lose because you are wrong. You lose because you can't stay consistent when you are right. That's the difference. This is where most people stop because the solution isn't attractive. It requires restriction. We have three important decisions in the market. One buying, one selling, and the hard one which fails you is sitting on your damn ass and don't do a fucking thing. And in trading, that's 70% of right decisions. We continue searching for better systems, better entries, better explanations, not because those things don't exist, but because they are easier to pursue than self-control. Over time, the gap widens between what they know and what they do. Knowledge accumulates, results don't. Just confusion builds up, not profits. And eventually frustration sets in. Not because trading is impossible, but because they don't change their behavior. They only change their courses and their gurus. The realization when it comes is quiet. Trading is not profitable for everyone because most people are not stable enough to operate in an environment without forced rules. It's not about intelligence, it's not about access or capital, it's about your behavior under stress. So the market isn't exclusive, but discipline is. And that's why most people don't make it. At that point, the question changes. It is no longer about how I do make money in these markets. It becomes how do I stop messing up with a strategy that already works in theory. And that is where progress begins. Not in finding something new, but in removing what was always in the way. The market doesn't limit who can participate. The market don't favor a special trading course or a guru. It reveals who can stay consistent. And I'm here to help you with that.